I remember when I heard Lady was pregnant. She had gotten out the night before, busted right through the fence. I was out in the yard with my brother and my friend Jack. My aunt stalked toward us. Lady's back, and she's pregnant, my aunt had said to me. Who's the sire? I asked while narrowing the fence back into place. Don't know, she shrugged her shoulders. Isn't she too old to have a foal? Yeah, I'm taking her to the vet tomorrow. You think she'll survive? I asked. No answer came. 11 months later, the night Lady was going to give birth, she busted through the fence again and hightailed it into the forest. Me, Jack, Auntie, and Doc Peters went looking for Lady. Jack and me found her, barely clinging on to life with a foal on the ground. She was bleeding out, and she died momentarily. Not before that old spark in her eyes came back. Lady may have died, but Snow survived. Jack and I both raised him and gave him the name Snow for 2 reasons. 1, he had a pure white pelt with black flecks. And 2, his mother was Lady Winter. We raised him from a frolicking, difficult little foal to the jumping champion he is today. As a colt, he was mischievous and rambunctious. He frolicked around with his friend Midnight, who was Jack's foal and was 2 months older. One time, Snow apparently thought it was fun to chase a squirrel. I ran up the tree and he slammed muzzle first into a large oak tree. He had a big lump on his muzzle for weeks. Another time, he hopped the fence, much like his mother, and went off into the woods. Found him a few hours later with gravel and rocks clogging up the horseshoe. It took hours to clean them. As an adolescent, he was even more mischievous. Shortly after being weaned off his milk and onto hay and grass, he started going through his rebellious phase, where he nipped at us and didn't take any treats. Eventually, the bad phase he had passed and went back to normal. Since he was getting older and bigger, I decided with the consultation of Jack and Auntie to try and wean him into a saddle and bit. I special ordered a flexible and comfortable bit for him and grabbed my old English saddle from the tack room. Never mind getting the pieces onto him. We had to catch him first. He always had this smug look in his eyes when we gave up chasing him. He had a way with his eyes. Those bright orange eyes turned smug with confidence or fiery with rage, sometimes even pride. Eventually, Snow gave in and got used to the saddle, but not before Jack and me had permanent hoof prints from him. When Snow was finally old enough to ride, he became a little beast. Remember the first time I mounted him, I knew he was a jumper. Not only did he buck me off in 2 seconds flat, he jumped so high up in the sky I thought he had wings. Even as he submitted after I had brought him around the ring, those fiery eyes never disappeared or dulled. As much as he made me angry, I had to admit, he was gorgeous. His sleek and shiny pelt rippled over his well-toned for jumping muscles. His strong, stocky, elegant legs held him upright and ears pricked overhead. When I finally climbed into his back again after I had brought him through the ring, like destiny. The feeling you get when you're on the back of a horse is indescribable. You feel every muscle shift under the saddle, and when they jump, you can feel the muscles bunch up and spring. The breeze that caresses your face, the sight of everything blur. It's just you and the horse. The more you ride with the horse, the more you become in sync. Breathing becomes one. You know when your mount is going to jump, or even cower in fear. There's no other bond like it. I remember when Snow was sick once. He was miserable, which made me really sad. When the vet, Dr. Peters, came and gave me some medicine, I was ecstatic that he was feeling better. That night, I slept in his stall with him. The next morning came, and I talked to my aunt who had seen me in the barn. I thought she would be mad, but instead she smiled and said that Snow had stood over me while I slept like a horse does for her foal, protecting me from harm. Snow was a winner, a jumper, and a friend. Though he may make me mad, put me through some troubles, he is, and always will be, my best friend.